Alonzo Spikes, June 11, 1933, Bancroft, Louisiana. From what I understand, this name Alonzo was given to me by one of my great aunties. My nickname was Boots. That name came about because there used to be an old country western song titled "Meet Me in the Bottom and Bring My Boots and Shoes." And so I used to try to sing that a lot, so I sang it so much until they just started calling me Boots. I was in the Army, and I went in as, I took training, basic training, and then my second phase of training was cook. I became a cook in the service, and my desire was to be the best cook, because I heard so many derogatory things about military food, and I wanted to change that. And however, after taking basic training in cook school, I go to my first unit. They had too many cooks, and so my first job was on gun. It was an anti-aircraft outfit in New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. So I spent 1 week on the 90mm guns, and they needed somebody in the radar section. So I was chosen to work in the radar. So I worked 1 year, my first year, as a radar operator, not technician, operator. And so the unit naturally got depleted on cooks. They needed cooks. The personnel part wouldn't assign them a cook because they had a school-trained cook doing another job. So they got me out of the radar and put me in the kitchen, and that's where I stayed my 2 years, and then re-enlisted, went back in as a cook. And then from then on, I still strived to do my best, and consequently, it got me on the top in the food service field. And applied for a warrant officer and was appointed warrant, and served my last 7 years as a warrant officer, and retired as a chief warrant officer 3. Had some great jobs and some good opportunities in that field. My last stateside assignment was at Fort Ord, California, where I was the food service officer for the whole installation. And that was from 70 to 72. And 71, that's when they went to an all-volunteer army. And my post was chosen to be one of the posts for the trial period for volunteering. And so naturally the food was one thing that I wanted to improve on. And so my installation was the first one to have carbonated beverage dispenser in the dining facility, where you can get a Coke, a Pepsi, orange drink, whatever, you know, it was carbonated, and it's served right there. And what was unique about it, being something new, there's none in the supply system. So I designed one myself and talked with people, and I had certain specs I wanted on it. And I stuck with it, and it kind of raised some ruffles through the people who were supplying stuff to the military, because they had nothing. They wanted me to use what they already had, but I insisted that it wouldn't work. I wanted an electronically controlled dispenser, the water and the syrup to make the drinks, but they wanted the mechanical part. And one of the biggest suppliers at that time was Booth manufacturer from Dallas, Texas. And so the owner himself, the president of the company, got on a plane and flew all the way to Monterey just to come talk with me to see. And by that, I was smart enough to understand that people in that category and that time, they're looking for ways to do something wrong. And I always had someone with me. So I would have my purchasing officer with me. When he come out, the guy comes and says, "I want to talk to Mr. Spikes." I said, "Well, wait, I have to get my purchase officer so we don't know what we're talking about." And so that's where it went. And my last assignment was in Panama. That's where I went from Fort Ord to Panama. And I was, well, after the food service portion there, I became the course chief of the Cooks and Bakers School at Fort Ord. And then I was club custodian in Fort Ord, and then went to Panama, was club custodian there, and that's when I retired. Well, one that I learned in service, I guess it is. It's a breakfast, cream beef, chip beef, but I like ground meat. You brown your ground meat and make a cream gravy and mix it with that, and that goes with eggs and hash brown potatoes, and you can serve the cream beef on toast or on biscuits. It's better on biscuits, really. But what I do now is take the beef and cook it like I normally do, and take Alfredo sauce and put on it, and it is delicious. You need to try it. Well, my parents were great parents. Our dad was a great person, and he, by losing his wife, our mother, and he stuck it out with us and seen everything was right with us. And he, after we all got out of the nest, then he remarried. And I don't know if you know it or not, but Mom told him, said, "Don't bring any woman here with my kids." That's what he told me. And that was the story he told me during the time she was in the hospital in Shreveport. She knew her time was out. But my mom, she was a sweet lady and a very nice person and a caring person. You might hear stories about how people were treated when they was a kid, what the parents did to them. But my mom, if it had been in other situations, somebody might have did it differently. I remember a couple of things. Some kids might have got the little hiney tore up about. I remember one time I was going to school. I found 2 packages of brown mule chewing tobacco. But it is a strong tobacco. What the guy chew and spit, and so I'm a little kid, So I had to be very young. My mama died when I was 9 years old. But I can remember that as was today. And so I didn't do anything until I get home. I'm going to take it to Mama. So I said, "Mama, can I have some of this?" She said, "No, we're going to give it to your Uncle Allen." We had an uncle who chewed tobacco. Nobody in the house chewed tobacco. "But I want some, Mama. I want to try it. Let me try it." I kept on bugging her, so she said, "Okay." She cut off a piece and give it to me. And I didn't remember anything till the next morning. And I had a big scar on my head while I was staggering into the walls. So she fixed me good. And another time, I could have, somebody might have got a little butt torn up, We was all playing there, and in the backyard, it's country like weeds and trees and everything. So I found a cigarette and I smoked it. And I didn't know I smoked. I just lit it, probably just blowing smoke. And so everybody, "Oh, I'm going to tell Mama, she's going to get you, boy. She's going to get you." And I was scared to death. I stayed outside until night. Wouldn't come in the house. I'm not going in. I didn't even eat. I stayed out there. But she came in and got me and pulled me and come and put me in the house and didn't spank me. So because I had beat myself up enough. So wasn't no need of her beat me. That wouldn't have been that wouldn't accomplish anything. So those are some unique things. Another time, my first time going fishing, it was with my mom. So I did some unusual things and with fishing. So I'm not getting any fish. So I take my pole and beat it in the water. So I'm gonna beat these fish up. They gotta bite my hook. And I caught a fish. Well, the holidays when I was young, it was just mainly getting a different type of meal, really. And we didn't have meals like you see today on table. And so most of the time we went and caught our meat from the woods, a duck, stuff like that, and most of the food we raised ourselves, and maybe you might get some fresh fruits or vegetables from the store, but everything else was done there. And decoration, we made it ourselves. And our Christmas tree, we went out and cut it, and it was a holly. And it was, in many instances, it was already decorated by nature because it's got those green leaves with little red berries already on it. So all you had to do is just make your decoration out of paper with color and get popcorn and sew a thread through it and color it up and hang it on the tree. That was it. Well, the advice I give them now is to, if they're in school, to learn all you can. Don't slough off on it because you can't go back. And for sure, they need to have God in their life, and that's the main answer right there, because you have someone always you can call on. But you can put your trust in everything else, but the trust and the belief and your concern need to be with God. What was I like? What was I doing when I was in 50? That would put me in the automobile sales, and I was that time in the 50s. Where was I? I was a great salesman. I wasn't. It didn't always try to beat anybody else out of sales, but most of the time I did. But I just had my goals, and I tried to treat people the way I would want to be treated in sales, because sales is kind of looked on as something undesirable. But I tell people I look at sales and walking a Christian life is very parallel, really. You have to believe and have faith that you can do it, and you're doing something to help someone if you look at it that way. It's not all about me. It's if you have a need, I need to find a way to fill it, really. And I'll never forget my first time selling cars. That was in the 70s, and so my first dealership was a Toyota dealership. Then I was at Chevrolet, and another person came in. He was that was my early part. He just started too, and so he had made a deal with a person, and when they come in to pick it up, something with the wheels. I forget exactly what it was, and so sometime you can do the thing. He said, "Well, what shall I do?" I said, "Just tell him the truth." That's the only thing you do. Tell him the truth, and that stops everything right there. Really, no need to try to beat around the bush and try to avoid it. What they're doing, but sales is something I really enjoy doing, and mostly I felt I was helping someone getting something that they need. I remember I'll tell you a story. When I was in church, teaching my adult class, and we were talking about how God was dealing with the unscrupulous leaders during that time, and some of them was rich. And then I painted a picture first, and it says, you know, I grew up where I was very poor where I grew up. We didn't have running water. We didn't have indoor plumbing, and no heat in our room. And you know, then I said, but I stopped and thought. I said, but you know what? We had everything we needed. We had everything we needed. If I needed fish, I went and caught fish, really. And we raised our fruit in the orchard. We had all that. We had a well. We can go draw water. But when I got through it, I said, you know, I was pretty rich, really. And you know, we had birds. We ate them. Now we love them. Oh, don't touch the little bird. But that God sent them that for us. And so if somebody talk about birds, and then we can talk about when they needed meat when they come from Egypt. He sent them a covey of quails so that they just ate till they were filled. So that's all in God's plan. But speaking about the house, you know, we had some cold nights, and we live with infested mosquitoes, gnats, snakes, rats, yeah, all that. But we had dogs that slept on the house. LJ mentioned the dogs under the house, you can see them. So they kind of warn you of snakes, and we had cats. They kept the rat population down. That was all necessary, really. But I remember my childhood life as you know, growing up with my siblings, and like LJ, he lived different from us, but he came and visited with him, and I remember me and him sleep together in the bed, and we had so much fun together when we were together as little boys, and And naturally, the dad wanted us to go to sleep because he got to get him to go to work in the morning. He said, all right, you guys better shut up in there. Then time he had to come in there with the strap on our little hiney, to get us to quieten down.